Three types of neighbors to avoid. After 70, shitty neighbors ruin everything. Growing older is a time to savor peace, stability, and comfort, ideally surrounded by people who bring positivity and respect into our lives. But a single problematic neighbor can erode the peace we seek, creating stress and frustration. For people aged 70 and above, having a comfortable living environment isn't just a luxury, it's essential. It's a place where we feel safe and where our daily routines can unfold without unnecessary disturbances. Unfortunately, not everyone has a respectful approach to neighborhood living, and certain types of neighbors can disrupt the harmony we need to enjoy life. This article will highlight the types of neighbors to be cautious of after age 70 so you can take steps to protect your well-being and peace of mind. By knowing the warning signs, you can set boundaries early or even decide if moving to a different neighborhood might be a good choice. Let's dive into the three types of neighbors to avoid and how each can affect your quality of life. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The nosy neighbor. As we reach our later years, home becomes more than just a residence. It's a sanctuary, a place where we're free to be ourselves without the world's eyes on us. It's where we shape our days around a rhythm that brings us peace, comfort, and familiarity. We surround ourselves with memories, and we cherish the tranquility that comes from having a space where we don't have to answer to anyone. Yet, when a nosy neighbor enters the picture, that sanctuary can begin to feel like it's under surveillance, with someone else's curiosity intruding on our comfort and peace. At first, a nosy neighbor's behavior may seem harmless or even caring. They might stop by to check in on us, bring over baked goods, or make small talk about the weather or the latest neighborhood happenings. This initial friendliness can be a welcome sign of community, especially if we're looking for friendly faces nearby. But over time, a nosy neighbor can become increasingly intrusive, shifting from small talk to personal questions that feel invasive. What begins as a friendly chat about the garden can quickly escalate to probing questions about our health, visitors, or our daily routines. Their concern may gradually evolve into a sense of entitlement to know the intimate details of our lives. A nosy neighbor can create an atmosphere that feels subtly oppressive. The knowledge that someone is watching who visits, observing when we leave and return, and commenting on our daily activities can lead to feelings of vulnerability. The sense of privacy we worked hard to cultivate can feel stripped away by a single person's insistent curiosity. Privacy isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about controlling how much of ourselves we choose to share with others. When a neighbor intrudes on this privacy, it's easy to feel as though the boundaries we rely on have been compromised, creating a tension that affects how freely we move within our own space. This kind of neighbor often has habits that, while seemingly minor, can begin to wear on one's peace of mind. For instance, they might be the type who's constantly at the window, subtly monitoring the neighborhood. Perhaps they're outside, gardening, or tidying up, only when you have visitors, taking note of who stops by and how long they stay. Nosy neighbors might also go out of their way to coincidentally bump into us while we're out checking the mail or tending to our plants, using these encounters to ask questions that can feel more like an interrogation than a friendly chat. Even simple questions can feel intrusive when they cross an unspoken boundary, such as, "Who was that young man visiting yesterday?" Or, "I noticed you had a lot of packages delivered. Doing some redecorating?" Beyond mere observation, nosy neighbors often indulge in gossip, freely sharing what they've learned or noticed about us with other community members. In their mind, they may see this as a way of staying connected, but for those on the receiving end, it can be disheartening. We may find ourselves the subject of rumors or assumptions we never wanted or asked for. Even harmless pieces of information can become twisted or exaggerated, creating narratives about our lives that are inaccurate, embarrassing, or even hurtful. This form of gossip can ripple through a community, affecting how other neighbors perceive us and sometimes leading to social discomfort or tension that wasn't there before. There's a particular sting in realizing that a simple act, like having a family member visit or ordering a few items online, has become neighborhood chatter. Handling a nosy neighbor takes a certain level of delicacy. On one hand, we may wish to keep things cordial, as maintaining friendly relationships in the neighborhood can be beneficial. However, it's equally important to set boundaries that protect our privacy and maintain our comfort in our own space. Sometimes, a simple shift in how we communicate can make a difference. Responding to questions with friendly yet vague answers allows us to maintain the social connection without opening the door to prying. For example, if asked about a visitor, a polite, just family stopping by can be enough to satisfy curiosity without providing the specifics they might be fishing for. At times, setting physical boundaries can also provide much needed relief. This can be as simple as adjusting window treatments to reduce visibility into your home, or placing a privacy screen, or fencing around areas where you spend a lot of time. Small changes to landscaping, like planting hedges or positioning potted plants, can also add a layer of separation that keeps prying eyes at a comfortable distance. For those who live in apartment complexes or shared buildings, choosing strategic seating arrangements or adjusting how you enter and exit can make it less likely to bump into the nosy neighbor during those routine moments. It's worth noting that nosy behavior often stems from a combination of boredom and a lack of awareness about personal boundaries. Many people don't realize when their interest in others crosses a line, especially if they're genuinely trying to be friendly. For neighbors like this, a gentle approach might work well. However, if the intrusiveness persists, it may be helpful to practice more assertive boundary setting. Politely but firmly communicating that certain questions or topics are off limits can create clarity for both parties. For example, if a neighbor repeatedly inquires about your health, a gentle, "I appreciate your concern, but I prefer to keep some things private," can be a clear but respectful way of closing the topic. The most important thing is to remember that our comfort, peace, and sense of control over our own lives are worth protecting. The home we've created for ourselves should be a place where we feel entirely at ease, free from unnecessary scrutiny or pressure to share parts of ourselves we'd rather keep private. By drawing both social and physical boundaries, we can preserve the quiet dignity of our space and our routines, allowing us to live as we choose, with only the company we select. With the right balance of politeness and firmness, it's possible to maintain civility without sacrificing privacy. In our later years, privacy becomes even more precious. It's a gift we give ourselves, a way of maintaining a sense of control and independence. Our homes should be places where we feel free to live on our terms, unburdened by the curiosity of others. By carefully managing interactions and creating subtle physical barriers, we can keep the nosy neighbor at a respectful distance, allowing us to fully enjoy the peace and autonomy we deserve. 2. The loud or disruptive neighbor. As we age, the value of peace and quiet in our home environment becomes increasingly important. Our later years should ideally be filled with restful mornings, calm afternoons, and undisturbed nights, a rhythm that contributes to both physical well-being and mental tranquility. Yet, when a loud or disruptive neighbor enters the picture, that carefully cultivated peace can be quickly shattered, turning what should be a haven of relaxation into a source of stress and frustration. Loud neighbors can bring an overwhelming amount of noise into the neighborhood, from late night parties and blasting music to barking dogs and boisterous gatherings. While young or busy families may thrive in environments bustling with activity, many older adults seek a quieter lifestyle. Disruptive neighbors often do not share this mindset, frequently ignoring the noise limits that make communal living pleasant for everyone involved. For those over 70, this constant barrage of sound can be more than just an inconvenience. It can become a serious detriment to quality of life. Noise pollution isn't merely an annoyance. Studies have shown that excessive noise can significantly impact health, leading to increased levels of stress, anxiety, and even sleep disturbances. For older adults, sleep is particularly crucial for maintaining cognitive function, immune health, and emotional well being. A loud neighbor who disrupts this fundamental aspect of life can affect more than just a good night's sleep. They can undermine the stability of our daily routines, leaving us feeling unsettled, tired, and even more susceptible to health issues. Common sources of noise from disruptive neighbors can vary widely, but typically include several key types of disturbances. Parties are a common culprit, especially when they involve late night gatherings with music, laughter, and conversation that spill into the early hours of the morning. These neighbors might believe that they're simply enjoying life, unaware or unconcerned about how their actions affect others. Pets, too, can be a source of disruption. A constantly barking dog, especially when left unattended for long stretches, can turn peaceful afternoons into hours of incessant noise, affecting not only your mood, but also that of other neighbors. Additionally, some neighbors have a lifestyle that naturally generates noise at odd hours, like running a home business that involves machinery, hosting frequent gatherings, or having family members who come and go late at night. The sound of slamming car doors, loud phone conversations outside, or even the frequent revving of car engines can create an unpredictable pattern of noise that keeps you on edge, wondering when the next disruption will come. This unpredictability is often as bothersome as the noise itself, as it leaves little room for a predictable, peaceful daily rhythm. Managing a loud or disruptive neighbor requires patience, tact, and sometimes creativity. In some cases, the neighbor may not even be aware of how much noise they're creating or how disruptive their lifestyle is to those around them. A polite conversation can sometimes go a long way. Expressing your concerns in a calm, friendly manner, focusing on how the noise affects your health and well being, may open their eyes to the impact they're having. Many people, once they realize their noise is a genuine issue, may take steps to reduce it out of courtesy. However, some loud neighbors may be less receptive or even defensive, especially if they view their noise as an entitlement. In such cases, it may be necessary to explore other options for minimizing the impact of their disruptions on your life. Installing soundproofing measures such as heavy curtains, rugs, or even acoustic panels can help reduce the amount of noise that enters your home. Additionally, creating a quiet zone in your home, a room set up specifically for peaceful relaxation, perhaps equipped with white noise machines or comfortable seating, can provide a reliable retreat during particularly noisy times. In situations where the noise persists despite friendly requests, it may be worth looking into community rules or regulations that address noise levels. Many neighborhoods, apartment complexes, and homeowners associations, HOAs, have guidelines or quiet hours that everyone is expected to follow. If your neighbor consistently violates these standards, reaching out to the property manager or HOA can sometimes provide a formal avenue for addressing the issue. Documenting the disturbances, recording noise levels, dates, and times can strengthen your case, showing a pattern that may prompt action from community authorities. Ultimately, preserving peace and quiet in your home environment is essential for maintaining a high quality of life. A loud or disruptive neighbor can disrupt this balance, but with proactive steps, you can often mitigate their impact. While not every noisy neighbor will be willing to change their ways, taking practical steps toward soundproofing, setting boundaries, and working with community resources can help you regain the tranquility you deserve. After all, a peaceful home is the foundation of well-being, and it's worth protecting for the sake of your health, comfort, and happiness. 3. The neglectful neighbor. In any neighborhood, a sense of shared responsibility keeps the community safe, pleasant, and visually appealing. For older adults, this is especially valuable, as a well-kept, welcoming environment contributes to feelings of security and peace. However, Not everyone shares this commitment to maintaining their property, and the presence of a neglectful neighbor can cast a shadow on the neighborhood's appeal. These neighbors often allow their properties to fall into disrepair, fail to address basic maintenance issues, and create eyesores that affect everyone around them. A neglectful neighbor's impact often goes beyond aesthetic displeasure. Their lack of upkeep can introduce real safety and health risks. Overgrown yards, broken fences, and piles of clutter can make the neighborhood look unkempt and even unsafe. In some cases, such neglect can attract pests like rodents or insects, which may find refuge in piles of debris or long grass spreading to neighboring properties. Neglectful neighbors may also leave hazards unattended, such as broken walkways, sagging fences, or unsecured structures, creating potential dangers for others in the area, especially if children or pets frequently pass by. Neglectful neighbors also tend to accumulate items outside, whether it's broken down vehicles, unused furniture, or general junk, which can create an unsightly and potentially hazardous environment. This clutter not only detracts from the visual appeal of the area, but can also lower property values, as a home's exterior condition is one of the first things people notice when evaluating a neighborhood. For older adults who may be looking to sell or pass down their property, this can be a real concern. A neglectful neighbor's unkempt property may make it harder to find buyers or even decrease the home's market value. The effects of a neglected property are also felt psychologically. For those who spend a lot of time at home, the sight of a nearby property in disrepair can create feelings of frustration and even resentment. A neighborhood that once felt pristine and comforting can start to feel uninviting, affecting the quality of life for everyone nearby. For older adults who often take pride in their homes and enjoy the routine of tidying their yards or planting flowers, a neglectful neighbor's disregard for upkeep can feel like a personal affront, diminishing the collective effort put into the neighborhood. Dealing with a neglectful neighbor requires patience, diplomacy, and sometimes a bit of creativity. Often, neglect comes from a place of overwhelm, financial hardship, or simply a lack of knowledge about home maintenance. A good first step can be to approach the neighbor in a friendly, non-confrontational way. Sometimes offering assistance, such as organizing a neighborhood cleanup or suggesting a local handyman, can encourage them to take action without feeling judged. They may appreciate a gentle nudge, especially if the neglect is due to circumstances beyond their control, such as health issues or limited mobility. If a direct conversation doesn't lead to improvements, another option is to engage community resources. Many cities and municipalities have property maintenance codes that require homeowners to maintain certain standards for the exterior of their property. These standards are usually in place to prevent exactly this type of neglect, and they cover issues like lawn upkeep, trash disposal, and structural safety. Reporting the problem to local authorities can sometimes prompt action, though this approach should be considered carefully, as it can create tension with the neighbor. For those living in areas with a homeowners association, HOA, addressing a neglectful neighbor can be a bit easier. Most HOAs have regulations that all residents agree to follow, including guidelines on property upkeep. If a neighbor is violating these rules, reaching out to the HOA can help address the problem through official channels, making it less personal and potentially more effective. In some cases, the HOA may send a formal reminder or even impose fines if the neglect persists, which can be a motivating factor for the neighbor to make improvements. If community intervention isn't an option, personal solutions can help minimize the impact of a neglectful neighbor on your own property. Landscaping choices, such as adding trees, hedges, or tall plants along your property line, can create a natural barrier that shields your view from the unkempt area. Privacy fences are another practical solution, providing a more solid barrier that allows you to maintain the beauty of your own yard without being constantly reminded of the neglected property next door. In the end, our homes and surroundings play a significant role in our happiness and well being, especially as we age. While we may not be able to control the behavior of our neighbors, we can take steps to protect our peace and enhance our immediate environment. Whether through friendly conversation, community resources, or strategic landscaping, dealing with a neglectful neighbor doesn't have to mean sacrificing the tranquility we deserve. By maintaining our boundaries, both physical and social, we can preserve the quality of our own space and continue to enjoy a home that truly feels like our own retreat. Conclusion. As we age, our home becomes more than just a shelter. It transforms into a sanctuary of memories, comfort, and peace. It's where we find solace, stability, and freedom from the pressures of the outside world. Having good neighbors enhances this experience, creating a supportive, friendly environment that nurtures our sense of belonging and security. But the wrong kind of neighbor, a nosy one who breaches privacy, a loud one who disrupts peace, or a neglectful one who diminishes the neighborhood's appeal, can threaten this delicate balance, affecting not only our comfort, but also our well-being and happiness. Each type of difficult neighbor presents its own challenges. Nosy neighbors can erode our sense of privacy, leaving us feeling exposed and vulnerable in a space that should offer the most protection. Loud neighbors disrupt our cherished calm, making it hard to rest, rejuvenate, or simply enjoy quiet moments. Neglectful neighbors, meanwhile, undermine the visual and physical integrity of the neighborhood, impacting both aesthetics and safety. Each of these situations can rob us of the peace we deserve after years of hard work, transforming the sanctuary we've built into a place of stress and frustration. However, while we can't always choose our neighbors, we can choose how we respond. Managing these challenges with patience, respect, and creativity can empower us to regain control over our living environment. Setting clear boundaries, practicing polite but firm communication, and taking advantage of community resources can help address many issues, turning potentially volatile situations into manageable ones. And in some cases, personal changes like adding privacy, landscaping, or soundproofing can provide a physical buffer that restores comfort and tranquility. Living well in our later years means protecting our peace fiercely. It means creating a home environment where we feel respected and valued, where we can move about freely and comfortably, without feeling watched, disturbed, or burdened by our surroundings. By taking steps to mitigate the effects of challenging neighbors, we reinforce the boundaries of our sanctuary, keeping it a place where we can relax, recharge, and fully be ourselves. At the end of the day, peace is our most valuable asset, especially as we age. Our homes should be spaces where we can find that peace and abundance, free from unnecessary conflicts or disruptions. While it may not always be easy, making an effort to address neighbor issues thoughtfully and proactively can lead to a more harmonious life, letting us enjoy the comfort and stability we've worked so hard to create. Ultimately, nurturing our sense of home is about safeguarding our well-being and preserving the quality of life we deserve. It's a gift we give ourselves, one that allows us to live fully, peacefully, and on our own terms. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.